2. What?
No.
It's a what?
1. Yeah.
Okay, they don't know. You got it.
Sitting in recession.
Sitting in recession?
Recess. Isn't it?
-5. Boy, Kaya needs to get a different group. Go.
It's the priest kicking out the goat having sex with his
What did he draw?
He drew the mother inside and then he's kicking out the goat.
Oh my God!
I just need to know what he drew. He drew an outhouse, so that means -5. But the hands down.
I said shack.
It's not a shack. First hand I see. Tell me about Flint and Falwell. You guys have it first. You've got it second. Go.
So it's when isn't it the
Hey,
Hustler,
Connor, you can go back.
Hustler magazine? Isn't it when they like
Hustler magazine. Go ahead.
Yeah, they like published an article saying how I knew it was well, I forgot his name, but yeah,
Somebody better tell me. 5.
Okay.
4.
All right. So the priest was saying bad things about.
Who's the priest? 2. 1.
Jerry Bourgeois. Something like. What?
Jerry, here's your chance to make it up. This is a big one. Jerry Falwell, and Falwell was the priest. Okay, so Hustler magazine prints something about the priest. What did they print?
Wait, didn't we learn
It
about
was
this
an
on
article
Wednesday?
talking about.
You don't want to have it since we just learned about it on Wednesday? Go ahead.
It was an article talking about his first time, and they made it look that it was about his first time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They published something that was entitled Jerry Falwell Talks About His First Time, and the implication was the first time that he was having sex. Okay, so tell me more. What did it suggest happened?
Okay, they made it look that he had sex with his mom in a
Sex with his mother. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
in a outhouse.
In an outhouse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And after kicking out a ghost.
After he kicked out a goat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, y'all got to take advantage when you get control. Go. So Falwell was accused of having sex with his mother in an outhouse after he kicked out a goat in rural Virginia. What was Falwell's argument? What was he suing for?
That they were damaging his reputation and his mom's reputation.
Yeah, damaging reputation. It was literally called emotional distress. JT, jump in with Erica's group. So that's the first piece to all of this. How did the court look at it? What did Falwell's people say? And any of y'all, remember, everybody needs to give an answer. And not everybody in your group has.
In the article,
are you sure you want Guyan to answer?
I know.
Zoom in on him. Get really close. Go ahead.
In the article, it said parody on the bottom in a really tiny print.
It did. It said, add parody, not to be taken seriously. And was it placed somewhere in the magazine? Go ahead.
It was there was 20.
He's just like Kennedy.
There was 20 pages of it was all like comedy and parody stuff that was all in that section.
It was in a 20-page
let me
satire
zoom
section.
in on this.
Absolutely. Anything else you can tell me? 5,
Oh, man.
4, 3.
He said that because he was a public figure, the court said that at the end, since he was a public figure, that was a type of lifestyle that that they had to accept that people were gonna say things about him. But since
The court actually said that Jerry Falwell was a public figure, and as such, you have to take the good with the bad. But if they would have published this about somebody that wasn't a public figure, even if they said it was a parody, and even if it was in that section, then in fact, no, this would not have been allowed. Anything else you can tell me? 5, 4, 3.
The case went to the Supreme Court.
Say what?
The case went to the Supreme Court.
-5. I don't even know that. Y'all want to say anything? Y'all still have shit. There might be some more points in this.
Can I say something?
Did I hear what's the question again?
-5. -5.
If Nima says something, I'll give points if it's right, but if not, it's -5.
okay.
Say anything.
The ruling was 9-0.
It was actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In a 9-tip case, they said Falwell was a public figure, and they said it was clearly labeled, and they also said that it was not just clearly labeled, but they said it was in the satire section. Go ahead, hit the light switch if you would. Touch the house. Y'all are now comfortably in last place. Pick me a category.
5 points, articles.
5 points for articles.
Ooh, this is gonna be interesting.
Executive order, executive privilege, and executive agreement. First hand I see, and this is really about order and agreement because we already dealt with privilege. Go ahead, Alston. I think it's you.
So for executive order, it is that the president has the power to basically enforce a law, basically without actually the Congress passing it. If the president signs an executive order, it automatically comes into force.
President 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can actually issue executive orders, and this is domestic policy within Article 2. And in fact, the Congress doesn't have to pass this. It has the effect of law. How long do these executive orders last?
They can last up to 10 days if the Congress isn't in session.
No.
Say
Somebody help him!
It only lasts until like the president is in office. Like if another president comes in, then they can eliminate.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're only going to be valid for that president. Other presidents can choose to enforce them or not. Can you give me any examples of an executive order? 5.
Barack Obama did an executive order on DACA legal status.
Actually, he did the legalization of undocumented folks. Anything else? 4.
Trump's travel ban.
Oh, yeah.
Travel ban actually would be a good one too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything else? Or executive agreement. 5.
Executive agreement. No.
4.
An example would be when
3.
the president.
President don't need, if it's like about an international like,
Zoom in.
something that if you have to make a treaty with some like other country, then the president don't need any like opinion from like Congress or something.
President don't need Senate, I think is what Name is saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The president can negotiate lower level foreign agreements without the approval of the Senate. That's an executive agreement. Can you give me an example? 5, 4.
Can we talk about executive privilege?
We've already done that one and another. 3, 2, 1. Does anybody have an example of an executive agreement? Go ahead.
Like ambassadors when they appoint ambassadors.
-5.
Like like for diplomatic reasons. I just read it on the article. It said something about diplomatic stuff.
You're buying it, Chris? -5.
It's on
The example of executive agreement was the Migratory Bird Treaty or George W.'s use of drones to patrol the Mexican-American border. These were things that we talked about straight from class. Click it, and y'all gave me the last correct answer. Pick me a category, please. How you doing on time?
We're at 7 again now.
Okay, so you've reset one. Go ahead, pick me a category. Gotta go.
The courts 2 points.
Courts were 2, big spenders. Solicitor General, first hand I see. Got it.
The Solicitor General is they represent the president on congressional matters.
That's true. I'm sorry, on what?
-2.
Represents the president where? -5. Help finish it. 4. Somebody help him. Where does the Solicitor General? 3, 2, 1. -2. Okay, who is the Solicitor General?
The
Go.
Solicitor General is basically like the 10th Supreme Court Justice.
10th Supreme Court Justice. 1, 2. So the Solicitor General represents the president where?
He's basically an attorney and he sits in the Supreme Court of the United
Actually,
States.
does what in the Supreme Court? 5.
He's an attorney.
4.
He's an attorney.
And was what in the Supreme Court? 3, 2.
Supreme Court Justice.
Say what?
The 10th Supreme Court.
Yeah, I've already heard that. 1.
He argues for the Supreme Court.
The Solicitor General actually argues on behalf of the government and is considered the 10th Justice of the Supreme Court. What's complicated about the Solicitor General's job? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The opinion that he's going to have is the one the Supreme Court is going to take.
Get close. What?
The opinion that he has is the one that the Supreme Court is going to take in consideration.
Okay, the Solicitor General is 1, 2 going to get a little bit more deference because they're the 10th Justice. But what's the hard part of the Solicitor General's job? We just had this on Wednesday.
Come on, guys.
I think everybody has had it at this point. Go ahead, click it. 10th Supreme Justice, or the attorney who argues for the government before the Supreme Court, 10th Justice on the court because of influence. The Solicitor General's got to push the president's agenda, but also be deferential to the court. And if you push too hard, you lose the influence. If you don't push hard enough, the president will fire you. Touch the House. Pick me a category. Y'all are, or actually, no, y'all aren't in last place. Y'all are really close to first.
Presidency, 1 point.
Oh, big spender. Presidential term limits. Yeah, y'all got it.
All right, so it's 2 terms. 4-year limit.
So the president can be elected to 2 terms with a 4 years per term, but you can serve longer than 10. Than 2 terms. What is the amendment that does that? 5. Anybody in your group? 4. First hand I see has got it next. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. 22nd Amendment. And the 22nd Amendment doesn't just say it's 2 4-year terms, but you can serve longer than 8 years, right? How? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click it. Presidential term limits. 22nd Amendment. President can serve up to 2 terms and up to half of a term of somebody else they were elected to serve. So if something happens to Trump now in the beginning, he's got longer than half of his term left, he can only be, the person that steps in, Pence, would only be allowed to be elected once. If something happens in January, just after Trump's midway point, serve out that term, and then be elected, and then be re-elected. So you can serve up to 10 years. Pick me a category. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 51, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45.
Articles, 1 point.
Article, wow, you're really going for it. The top 5 presidents according to the Gallup poll, first hand I see. It is Austin.
The first 5, do they have to be in order?
I just need the top 5.
Top 5 were Lincoln.
Lincoln. No, that's the wrong one.
Reagan.
Reagan and Lincoln.
JFK.
JFK.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
And FDR.
FDR. I think that's got it. Click it. Yeah, you gave it to me in order. Touch the house. Pick me a category. A slim lead y'all have.
2 points videos.
Yeah.
2 points videos. Veto of a popular or unpopular president. Straight from the PowerPoint. I can see by the look on your face, nobody has looked at the PowerPoint. Click it. If the veto of a popular president is less likely to be overridden by Congress, the veto of an unpopular president is more likely to be overridden. Look at that PowerPoint. Touch the house. Pick me a category. Slim lead. 5, 4.
Videos, 1 point.
Wow. Presentment clause. Nobody has looked at the PowerPoint. Click it. The presentment clause requires that a bill passed in identical form to be passed by the Congress to be presented to the president for signature, veto, or whatever. Touch the house. Pick me a category. Maybe something other than video.
The chords, 3 points.
Chords for 3.
Ooh.
Rule of 4.
Oh,
First
this
hand
is
I
easy.
see.
Come
Go
on.
ahead.
All right.
Big D. Get really close.
All right.
5.
Yeah, get close to Big D.
3.
Is this the 4 justices where they all
2.
have to?
You better go.
All right,
I
so
don't need you to put it in the form of a question.
all right, so the 4
All
so the 4 justices have to agree to hear the case, and they could disagree with the lower courts as well.
If they're agreeing to hear the case, and what does that mean if they get 4?
If they get 4, that means it goes to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it actually does. You got that one right. 1, 2, 3. That's totally. Click
They're in
it.
last place.
4 Supreme Court justices. Wow, I heard some shade. 26. Y'all are half of Erica's group. Pick me a good category.
Let's go back to the courts because we need points. So 4 points.
Courts for 4.
Ooh.
What happens when the Supreme Court ties? It is Austin, and then it's Adam. 5.
But the vice president
4.
puts in his vote.
Vice President puts in his vote. -4. Go ahead. What happens when the Supreme Court ties? You were going to say the same thing, weren't you? The top chief. -4. Oh, it's all coming apart now. Y'all want in on this? Go ahead, click it. Highest lower court decision is rule of law. There's going to be another case that will soon follow. Touch the house. Please, dudes. You're less than half of Erica's group now. Pick me a good category.
Alright, so 5 points presidency.
5 points for the presidency. Who's drawing?
Pictionary.
I drew last time.
I need somebody to draw. Chris, if you could erase, and if you could hit that light switch. Need somebody to come draw. Come on, 5.
5.
We need somebody. This is your big chance. 4.
Oh, it's Big D.
3. 2.
Hey, hold on.
1.
I'm drawing.
Okay, Big D. Don't say it out loud, okay? That's what I need you to draw right there. Got it? Don't say it out loud. You got it?
All right.
Okay. Starting at 1 minute. We'll start it on the 11.
I'll try to get this sauce as soon.
Got it?
D.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my.
That looks like a big D.
Alright.
What in there?
Alright. So.
Never mind.
Alright.
Okay, I actually think I get where he's
Okay,
going.
yeah, I got
think
it.
he's
I got what
going.
he's doing too.
Toilet bowl.
It's a toilet bowl.
Okay, 35 seconds, Big D.
I'm trying here.
What is? Oh, is this the Oval Office?
That's actually not bad, but no, it's nowhere close.
Thank logic.
No. You can't see.
You can move so that you can see. It's totally fine. 20 seconds. You gotta hustle now.
God.
This is really easy.
Yeah, after you did like.
Alright. Chair.
10 seconds.
Oh, it's the courtroom.
You can't talk. No hand signals. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Any guess at all? I didn't expect you to win. Would anybody have a guess at all?
The Oval Office?
Yeah, I think we've already said that was wrong. Did I get the marker? -5.
I tried making it as simple as possible.
No, it was Erica. It was Erica. It was Erica's group.
Oh, wrong group. Wait.
No, yeah.
Yeah, you are with them. No, I did tell you to go to Erica's group. I did. I did. -5. First hand I see. First hand I see. I need to know the significance of makeup.
Toilet bowl.
Makeup from the presidency. Go, Arturo. You got it.
Because Nixon, he was sick when he was having that debate with Kennedy and
Who was this?
Nixon, right?
Nixon. This is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Nixon versus Kennedy election. What year was this? What was the technology? Anything you can tell me?
It was television was coming.
Hey, man.
This, and so how did that impact the election?
Well, because it's first ever televised debate.
First ever 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 televised debate. And Nixon made several mistakes. What were they?
He didn't wear makeup, and he was sick, so he looked pale.
Nixon did not wear makeup before he went on camera. He looked really, really pale, and he didn't present. Keep going, you'll have it.
He had a black,
Oh yeah, you never.
Black suit.
yeah,
Yeah.
black suit.
And why was that important?
Because it blended in with the background.
Dark suit blended in with the dark background.
Ooh, you guys are
Anything
catching
else?
up.
You never looked at the camera.
He didn't look at the camera.